I think it's time to start. Hello everybody. As every Thursday, as a pro, I will solve some interview problems mainly from Leetcode. Hi Keeper, Astrocraft, welcome. Queasy, hi. Good luck. Thank you. I am fine. Let's get to the last page. Partition array for max sum. 1043. What is it? Medium. Continuous subarrays of length at most k. No, but limits are small enough. All right. Maximum value of that subarray, largest sum of the given array. Yeah, this is fine. Did you shave your beard? I mean, the default state is not to have a beard. If I don't shave a day or two, then just you will see a little bit of hair. It's not, intended. All right. This is a good problem to start with as a warm-up, and maybe we can do some dynamic programming problems today. Right, so we have this, and they talk about, okay, the example here is to partition it here after 3 elements and then after this single element. Then in every part we care about maximum there, and here we would change everything to 15s, here everything into 9s, everything into 10s, and then we sum that up. So the answer is 3 times 15, 9, 3 times 10. I will plug it into calculator. 84 indeed. Fine. Then, and n is quite small, and whenever n is small you should think about dynamic programming. You often will get complexity like n square or n cubic. I think here we will do n square. If you watched my YouTube lectures on dynamic programming, you will know that I often ask, after some time of doing a process, usually from left to right, like we go through this sequence, we already made some decisions. So let's say we are done with this prefix. What can be the decisions we made? Well, we partitioned that prefix in some way. Like maybe we did some cut here, we did some cut there, who knows, and right now we are here. That's one possibility. And then I don't care how exactly I partitioned this thing on the left, I just care about the sum of values until the last partition and where that last partition is. So it should be something like where the state is, sum of values so far, last partition, and maybe the current index I. Like maybe we are here and we decide to either partition there or we decide to move forward. And if we move forward, then like we will just move from this to i+1. If we cut here, everything from last partition to I need maximum. That's one way to go like this one by one. Even better, if possible, would be to say that state is just sum and last partition. If you look at this sequence and you know that the last partition is here, can you do something with that? Can you move forward? Like, let's say this is the last partition. Maybe there were some partitions on the left. Doesn't matter. But we know what's the sum. So it's, in other words, this is like, we dealt already with this prefix, we split it optimally, and we know that it gives us this sum. Then how can we move forward? Well, we can iterate over where to make the next partition. And if as we go from here forward, I can also maintain maximum so far, and I will have some new DP state. Like, if state consists of two parts and one of them is the answer that we maximize, then this will be dimension of DP, and this will be value of DP. So DP of I, or I is this last partition, this is defined as max sum of values in prefix up to I, where the next number I need to take is I. Let's say that DP of 0 means that I didn't yet do anything. Ongoing division 2, just hopped on the stream. How long will it be going on? 40 minutes, right? Yeah, so something like this. Later we can think if this should be n or maybe n plus 1. Like, we can decide about this later. Also, I think we can just turn off the dark mode, right? Because half of Leetcode is anyway dark. Yeah, this will be fine. Alright, DP of 0 is 0, most likely. Are values positive? They are non-negative. So I think it will not hurt to put everything as 0. But sometimes you need to fill everything as minus infinity, like this, or in some similar way. Can answer be long? Largest sum. I think that answer theoretically could be long, but they tell us to return int, so maybe it's guaranteed that in all the tests it doesn't happen. Eyes burned for a second. I tried to be, not that brutal, and I did it partially with shifting this. Also, I prefer a name A instead of R. Right, so this is most likely unnecessary. For every I, if this is the last partition place, now move forward where is the last element of the same interval. I here assume that there is interval from I to j, and then after j I'm looking at j plus 1. So new state is DP of j plus 1. I maximize, and here length of this interval times the maximum. Interval max. I just need to compute interval max. N is after the n minus first element, so indeed we need n plus 1. Everything can be initially 0. It doesn't hurt anyway. Like, to get somewhere I can do it in even better score, so this 0 will be overwritten by something bigger. And I just need to introduce k. So this and length of interval doesn't exceed k, and interval max. As I go from I to the right, let's maximize this with then every next element. Hi Pewee and Yanukil. Yoniknil. Suggestions. I can check it out. Alright, done. Complexity is n square. It's obvious when you look at two nested for loops. You could also, this is DP push method, where by using already computed state DP of I, you iterate over the next state to have. So using DP of I, you update DP of I plus 1, I plus 2, and so on. Or there is also pull method, there are various names for that, where assuming that all dp values on the left are computed, you compute dp of I by iterating over the previous step. I think that usually push is easier for me to do. It's easier to think about it like that. Like when I'm here, what's the next step to make? But it would be very similar if you here iterated over j being on the left from I, and here you would do something like dp of I is maximum of itself and dp of j plus something for this interval. But what we did is dp push method, because we push the already computed value to future values. 100,000 times 500 fits into int, but a values, there is no 10 to 5th power here. This is to 9th power. This is answering to lindan from a comment from before. I think answer here is up to 500 times billion, 10 to 9th power. Top down versus bottom up. I don't think that's a good name, but as I said, there are multiple names. Don't understand but like it. Well, many people say the same thing during my streams. Maybe just I cannot explain anything, and it's just you watching because it seems cool. There are 2 hard suggestions by Furry. Fancy sequence, design kind of problem involving a bit of math. Split array with same average hard. There is this. There is that. I will take a look first to decide if it's worth it or not. Move each element of nums into one of the arrays AB such that they are non-empty and average is the same. Oh, there are 30 elements. 30 elements. I have an idea. And what about this one? This one is the one we did already, fancy sequence. This is the one we didn't. API that generates fancy sequences using the append, add all, and mult all. Appends increments all existing values in the sequence but inc multiplies everything. Get that value. Yeah, I know the solution to this one. So this problem is related to offsets, this harder version of that. I'm not sure which problem is better. What else was there? Get cave ancestor to return the cave ancestor of the given node. Is this binary lifting or something else? If we could do it offline, then one DFS would be enough, and then we would keep path to the root in a stack. But other than that, I think they want binary lifting. Hint: queries must be answered efficiently. Thank you. Yeah, okay. There was the second hint answered my question. All right, let's vote between those, but I would say this is not a good coding interview problem. Well, all of them are hard, so I don't know. I don't know what is a good hard coding interview problem. Let's vote. Paul, what was the name of the voting system I always used? Do you remember the name? Stropol. Oh, I remember. Oh, thank you. And he also said that in the same moment. Okay, so it will be, I need to close this, either the API problem with adding and multiplying, or average with n up to 30, or cave ancestor of a tree node. Here you go. Can you do both fancy sequence and average? If they get high votes and they are close to each other, then I guess so. But I don't want to solve only hard problems. Or maybe I should. Maybe I should be consistent and spend the whole stream on just hard problems to make it interesting for some group of people instead of just switching back and forth. Do you resolve questions in any other language than C++? I prefer C++. I know how to use Java and Python, but sometimes I struggle with some stupid details like, I don't know, reading the input. Now the link points to the straw poll. Again, API problem is something where we need to append new elements to a sequence, add something to all elements, and multiply all elements by something. There is problem about splitting 30 elements into two groups with the same average, and cave ancestor, for every node we need to go k times up. Love from India. Thank you, India. But don't repeat your comments. Right, a few more seconds to vote. If you're watching on YouTube right now, even live, there is a link in the description to Twitch chat or just Twitch stream. Actually, is there a link? Yes, there is. It says live chat something, and it points to just Twitch chat, not even the video. Even if you're watching on YouTube, you can, on the side, open the chat and be able to interact. Or even if you don't have a Twitch account, you can open a link and vote. Twitch is better. In Twitch, YouTube, I think, is better in terms of the coding and various resolutions. And YouTube allows you to pause and rewind. And even pause for a few minutes, then increase the speed and rewind. Actually, Twitch also allows that, I think, but it's harder. You need to go to, what was the trick? I think you need to go to somebody's account, open videos, click the current one, and there you're able to rewind. So they have the same possibility that YouTube has, but they just hide it. And there you can watch in bigger speed, like 1.5.
If you shave your beard, I mean,
so if you are like, if you joined too late, you can still watch everything, just with a little bit bigger speed. And I cannot understand why they hide this possibility. It's so useful. I always use it on YouTube, with YouTube streams. Latency is bad. YouTube latency, well, it's a trade-off then. When you can subscribe, I guess in Twitch never, I don't know. Advantages of cout and scene, they are simpler. All right, let's see the results. I don't think 0% is right. Usually there are tens here, so something is wrong. There is a bug. I voted. Damn it. Come on. All right, apparently the website is broken. All right, then debug straw poll. I think it's hard. All right, then just write in the chat ABC. This is API is A, then average is B, and so on. Type in the chat and please don't repeat your answers. This is A, B, this is C. Stupid straw poll. Right? My eyes say that A and C are the best. But actually it's hard to say. Right, I think that C wins, so let's do C. What is C? 3 Ancestor. Right. Try direct poll. I should, but if you make one, then I will use it. But for now, I'm doing C. C was the worst. Then maybe we can just talk about solution to C. What was C? Cave Ancestor. Actually, I will not code the solution. I will just tell you how to do it offline and how to do it online. I think that's better. It doesn't waste your time if you know the solution. I mean, it doesn't waste that much of your time. You can grab a new link. What if all the queries are known in advance? They aren't here, so you cannot do this, but what if they were? Then, let's say that maybe there is some main function, but for every query, this is pseudocode, for every query, we can save queries for this vertex of vertex v. We can say that we save the fact that there is query there. Wait, k is given. Okay, so there is query described by k, and the query ID is this. So I'm solving the problem if it was allowed to do things offline, which means that you are given all the queries in advance, and then you can solve them at the same time. What if we could solve it offline? I'm just trying to spice it up and make it interesting for people who just know binary lifting. So right, what then? After that, I can do a DFS on vertex 0, assuming that every vertex knows their not parents, children. And what DFS of 0 does, or just for any vertex. DFS would mainly iterate over children and run DFS for those children. But also, let's keep a path of everything on the path from me to this vertex. And I can either here pass it by reference, or global variables are ugly, but they are convenient to use, or just let's keep it here. Path is, you can also call it a stack, because it's actually a recursive stack, like with DFS. When you start from the root, then you go to some child, and you go to its child, the stack would still keep this path, because you will eventually go back from this DFS up. But what if we directly keep the path? Here we push back. When we exit a vertex, we pop back. I will draw what this path is as we go through this tree on the left. Initially, when we start in the root, path just contains 0. Then when we go down to 1, path contains 0 and 1. Then when we go to 3, it contains 0, 1, 3, like this. Then indeed, this is the path from root down. Then we exit from 3, so it cancels this guy with a pop back, which removes the last element. Then we go down to 4, so we put 4 here, and the path is 0, 1, 4. And if there were any queries for vertex 4, tell me who is k units up, then I can just look up this path. How do I do it? When I'm in A, I iterate over all queries. For every query in queries for this vertex of A, there is some kind of K there, and I know that A is on position path of path size -1, because this is the last element, and now -k, it looks up the cave ancestor. So answer for this query is this, and we would use query ID to save this in some kind of global array. Should we avoid global variables in an interview? Yes, you should. Local variables are better coding style. So actually this should be that. That being said, I would argue that local variables are harder to read and understand, because like whether you type here a reference or not, this depends on language a lot. And then also you need to pass it here, obviously. So for teaching purposes, I prefer to make it simple by just making it global. But you should not make things global whenever possible. You should avoid it. All right, so that's an offline solution. And if you want an online solution, then you need to use something called jump pointers or binary lifting. Which is technique that allows you to look up the first parent up, second parent up, or second ancestor, then 4th, 8th, 16th, 32nd, and so on, every power of 2. It is preprocessing in this complexity, n log n, and then log of n per query. But solving this problem is exactly about knowing this technique. So it's a very bad problem then, because either you know the technique or you don't. Though we shouldn't really disqualify such a coding interview problem just because it requires a technique, because a real coding interview is more interactive. Your interviewer will help you a little bit. It's more like, can you figure out the technique with enough hints? Premium version of Leetcode is worth it for interview prep. There are so many video solutions online, and if something is young in a platform like Leetcode only recently started with video solutions, so I assume that their quality isn't the best. I don't know yet, I didn't check it out. There are a lot of free video solutions out there. On YouTube, tens of people do videos for free. And looking at past editorials of Leetcode, I don't think that necessarily videos made by Leetcode are better. So for sure, don't get premium only to have access to video solutions. Why can't we use binary lifting in offline solution? Oh, we can too. Offline solutions are a subset of all solutions, right? What I described here can work only if it's offline. Binary lifting works in both cases. Binary lifting is online, so it's better. If something is online, then it also works offline. Online means that you need to do something some way. And of the fact that we're solving offline, it means that it doesn't work if the problem requirement is to solve it online. And it was the case here. We cannot use our algorithm here because we don't know queries in advance, while binary lifting we can use whenever. It just first some preprocessing, and doesn't matter then if we get queries one by one or we get all queries at the same time. We would anyway look at every single query and answer it in logarithmic time. Constraints are low, but what if we're in interview and we don't know constraints? Good point. So when I'm solving Leetcode problems, I'm saying out loud hints for solving Leetcode problems. And indeed, this hint will not work properly if you don't know constraints. So just then don't use that hint if you don't know constraints. But there are many other indicators that we need to use dynamic programming, like sub-problems, stuff like that. Or just splitting a sequence is very common is commonly solved with dynamic programming, where if we know how optimally to solve some shorter prefix, we can then iterate over the next interval to process. That's a general n-square solution for problems about splitting sequences into shorter intervals. In the offline solution, you do not use the parent array. I kind of did because I iterate over children. So how did I get children? I can only get children by first iterating through parents. And if I see that 5 has parent 7, then actually for 7 I need to put child 5. DFS can be avoided if parent of I is smaller than I, like if always parent is smaller than the child. If that's the case, then we can do this without DFS and instead just with iteration. But if we can get arbitrary order like this, let's say that root is 0, but then we have 5 here and 5 has children 1 and 2 and so on. You cannot do this without DFS or without first some kind of topo sort, which is harder, so just do DFS. Intuition behind binary lifting, it's exactly what I said. So we want to remember first parent, second, fourth, and so on, 8, every power of 2. And there are 2 parts. Think how to compute that preprocessed array and think how to use it. Those are the 2 hints. I would say it's pretty straightforward. It's not complicated. Stuff like segment tree is harder than binary lifting. And if you want to learn binary lifting, then also read about sparse table. They are constructed in a very similar way, so you will almost for free get to know another technique. So related is sparse table. Sparse table is for sequences and binary lifting is for trees. It's kind of the same thing, just binary lifting is for trees. By the way, binary lifting allows you, other than looking up ancestors quickly, it allows you also to find LCA, not always, lowest common ancestor. I will write it down. Binary lifting allows us to find lowest common ancestor efficiently in log of n. Sort the requests for each node by k, write a loop through requests. Sort the request for each node by k, write a loop through requests. Okay, and how do you... Okay, I see how we get a parent of every vertex we already know. But how do we get then second, third parent, fourth, fifth? Go through parent array. I still don't see what to do. Maybe it is solvable that way, but I don't see it. Second parent is parent of parent. Yeah, but it seems that you will get n square or like n times k, and that's quadratic. We don't want that. If then third parent you want to update for every vertex, and then fourth parent, fifth parent, that's bad. Unless k was very small. If k is very small for every query, then your solution is good. In this problem, we need to create agency list. I would say that we need to know children. I use them here, so we need to use... That's kind of inverse of parent. At the beginning, I would do this for every a, and maybe not for 0 because it's a root, I'm not sure. For every a, we see that a has parent, right? So we can say that this parent has a child. Something like that allows you to know the children. This is what I would need in this offline solution that we cannot use in this problem, because this problem is requiring us to do it online. We need to answer queries one by one. And in this binary lifting solution, we don't need children. We just need parents, then second parents, fourth, eighth, and so on. So we wouldn't even do this. This is needed only for my solution that I implemented here. In neither case we need agency list. Right, I will not. I told you everything that you should know about this, and if you're curious about it, you can just think about it, or then look up the article. Yes, my solution is n. This thing is O of n. This thing with binary lifting would be n log n, and what you propose is n squared, and that's too slow. This is why I didn't even consider it. Notice that your solution isn't better than for every request to just go from a vertex up k times. No? When you have a query about pair ak, like what about iterating like that, k times, repeat, a becomes parent of a. This is also quadratic. N squared in the worst case, if k are small, k values are small, then it's O of n times k. But in general, this is n squared. It's too slow, we don't even consider it. Then your solution is same complexity, but likely harder, so not worth it. But sure, an idea was correct. Right, problem done. What do we do now? Maybe this started working. Nope, it didn't. Virtual contest almost every day. No, don't do every virtual contest every day. That's too much. Solving problems on your own speed is more important. Longest consecutive path. So like with neighbors differing by 1. Maybe. So this, here I said everything I wanted to say. Split array with same average. Fancy sequence. Yeah. If just hints for those two problems for you, if you want to tackle them. In this problem, we need to store something called offset, where if you have elements in an array like this, and you want to add to all of them value 7, but you don't want to go through all of them. Maybe there are thousands of them. Instead, keep some offset and initially equal to 0. And whenever you need to increase everything by 7, you just will do offset plus equals 7. Then when somebody asks you, tell me the first element, don't say 10, say 17. Always when printing, print AI plus offset. But then it also makes it a little bit tricky to add a new element, because now if you want to add element 30, well, then printing it would trigger 37, because there is some offset already. So to combat that, to cancel offset, the current offset, so appending, we need to append a of I minus the current offset. So when you want to insert 30 to this sequence, and offset is already 7, then actually insert here 23. But with offset of 7, this is actually 30. So that's the technique of offset. And here we also need to multiply, so there will be offset of addition and offset of multiplication. There will be two constants you keep. You can think then about it as some kind of linear function, but most likely those words will scare you, and instead you should just think about offset, like addition offset and multiplication offset. One means that you should add when printing to the answer to AI, and the other says that you should multiply. Right, so in this problem we keep addition offset and multiplication offset. That should be enough for you to solve this if you want to tackle this hard problem. And most likely, if I was your interviewer, then I would want from you to at least figure out this part about offset to just handle addition. Like multiplication is an extra thing. If a problem consists of several parts, always think if you can solve it without one of the parts. And here, if we didn't have multiplication, then it is quite standard problem where we just keep the offset. And before an interview, if you want to perform very strong in an interview, you should have already known about offsets, right? So everything other than multiplication is about this offset. The solution is here, and then you need to figure out on your own how to also handle multiplication. But for this, the multiplication offset is needed. Multiplication offset most likely will be about printing this multiplication offset times AI. It's up to you to figure out the details. Maintain the sequence of addition and multiplication. Well, if you tell me, if for now you know that every element actually is a of I plus offset, and now you multiply this by 2, let's say that offset is equal to 7, and now you multiply it by 2, now you know that everything is twice I plus 14. So if now you add for this 2, you will have 2i plus 16. If you multiply this by 3, you will have 6ai times this times 3, 48. So just offsets are not independent. Again, you figure out the details. Problem I bookmarked in the last stream. Oh, thank you. Indeed, it's bookmarked. Thanks, Saran. I think I will do it. And for average, I don't know the details, but again, a hint for you is that you should think about the first split elements into two groups of size 15, and aim for complexity like this. I think so, I'm not sure. Whenever you see n up to around 30, it's a suggestion that we should use meet in the middle, where we split into two groups of size 15, and for each of them we can do exponential complexity. Again, only a hint. We considered solving those three problems, but we went with the first one. All right. Step-by-step basics for problem solving like reading input. I think that I would say that everybody can do it. I know how to solve hard problems, and I hope that I can explain algorithms well. So I don't want to spend a lot of time explaining the very basics. There is for sure plenty of content for that. Like if you Google code forces, how to read input, or how to start with code forces, I think there will be results both in code forces and in YouTube. There's couples holding hands. Give me hints to solve this. Max points on a line. Sounds like geometry. Given some set of points, return the maximum number of points that lie on the same straight line. Okay, my hint is start by checking given n points if they are collinear. So first figure out how you would check if the answer is n, because all n points are collinear. That's my hint for you. Epic loot offset? What do you mean? Is it something related to a problem I'm looking at? Resource to learn graph theory. I don't know a particular one, but if you go here, There's there a link to free PDF about competitive programming. And if you're into competitive programming, you will also find something about graph theory there. Let's solve this one. I wanted to do it previous time, but I was out of time. N couples sit in 2 seats in a row. They want to hold hands. Being this, all right. So there are n pairs, in total 2n people. Then every pair, let's say they are described by some letter. And an example arrangement is like this. This means there are 3 pairs. Those 2, they want to sit next to each other. Does it mean that they need to be here or there? As a swap, I can choose any 2 people, they stand up and switch seats. Here maybe I will want to swap them. I will have A, B, C, B, and after that swap those 2. I will have A, C, B. The couples are numbered in order, the first couple being this. Also, do I know that A's need to be first? No, because I thought that maybe 0 and 1 need to be on the very left, but it seems that that's not the case. Length is only 60. Maybe we should use that, I'm not sure. Okay, can I earn money in competitive programming? Not efficiently. Yes, you can, but if you care mainly about money, competitive programming isn't a way to go. Get a software engineering job. An average programmer earns like 100 times more than an average competitive programmer from doing competitive programming, of course. That being said, I do mainly competitive programming and I earn from that. But I'm an exception rather than a rule. Programming language, C++. Right. If there are here at the beginning 2 people, say C and E, and then there are some more, and so on. Does it matter if I leave here C or E? Either I need to move here E, or I need to move here C, or what? I could theoretically move 2 other guys here. Does it make sense? What if I want to now construct a case where actually I need to move 2 completely new people to the first 2 positions? Maybe that's possible. Consider BC, BAAC. So swapping like this would put 2 A's here at the beginning and would fix everything. But I guess there are other ways to achieve that. So then the final sequence after 2 swaps will be AA, BB, CC. An alternative is, instead of getting this, to just swap B with C here. Then I will have BBC, AAC, CAAC, and then with a single more swap, like this, I will get BB CCAA. This was partial stuff. Okay, I actually don't need to print the steps, it's enough to print the output. What else can I say about this? When we swap things around, we sometimes should think about it as cycle with arrows. If we magically knew what needs to go where, like actually it doesn't matter what actual characters are there, but if somebody tells me, okay, this needs to go there, but also then they swap, this needs to go there, this needs to go there. If there is this cycle of size 3, I can handle it with 2 steps. Right. If this is A, this is B, A, B, C. If I want to shift them according to arrows, I can do it with 2 steps, because first I swap BA, then I swap AC, and B traveled to just like the arrow suggests, A traveled just like the arrow suggests to this spot, and same with C. So with 2 moves, I changed ABC to everything shifted according to this cycle. If I just want to swap 2 things around, it's 1 operation. If 3 things in a cycle like this, that's 2 operations. And I believe that if I have k items in a cycle and I want to shift them like this, I need k-1 operations. Instead of using ABC, numbers are more suitable. Difference between pairs must be 1. Maybe we can use this, I don't know. Yeah, but they said exactly how do we use differences, or actually I know that 0 and 1 are in the same pair, 2, 3 are in the same pair. So I actually simplify the input by thinking about it as characters. So for me, I assume that this input is like that. It doesn't matter which one is 0, which one is 1. So I change both of them into A. This is B, B, A, A. There. So if something is a cycle of size k, I need k-1 swaps, because when I swap A, like E will get to proper place and A will still want to go here. So it's like with a different color. If I swap AE, now what happens is that E is on proper place, but A is here missing and it wants to get here. So cycle decreased, shrinked by 1. And I repeat that until the cycle is size 2, where one character wants to get to the other position, but that other position wants to get here, and I do it with 1 final swap. Hence, k-1 swaps needed in total for a cycle of size k. Then I believe that I need to look in some way at this sequence, and I need to figure out cycles, like what letter wants to go where, so then what cycles do we have? Best software engineer? I have no idea. There's like a million software engineers. I don't think there is any competition who's the best software engineer. At most, for every tech lead, or every single lead of a team can tell you who is their best software engineer in their team. Why answer isn't 0? Why is it 0? We need some swaps. If you make 0 swaps here, they don't sit properly. Surprisingly, we got some kind of hard problem today. AI hype real? I don't think so. I think that AI is less useful than people think. At least in most of business. In California, where there have nice wide roads, I believe that AI is useful, if you can call it AI, to travel, to replace drivers. So it seems reasonable that in a few years a big percentage of truck industry will be changed a lot thanks to AI, but it's not that that much will change with AI in the next 10 years, in my opinion. One more question after this. We'll see. Yeah, let's get back to solving this. When I look at the first position and I see some kind of, let's say, BC here, then doesn't matter which one I will put here. Maybe doesn't matter. Let's assume that B will stay here. Then I want another B here. There are many positions, many characters, and here there is another B. Then I want those two to swap. There will be two B's next to each other. Then C will get here, and maybe I should just continue from here. I don't know if it's optimal. I can try. I'm sure it will work on samples because samples are just so small. Okay, let's try. I will change the name of this array into A. Did I give you a proper link? I did. For every I, actually once every 2 positions. So I plus equal 2. If AI is different than AI plus 1, actually it's not about that. Maybe I should have a function that they match. They match if they differ by 1, like 0 matches with 1, 2 matches with 3. I believe that they match exactly when their XOR is equal to 1. Like 0 with 1, 2 with 3, 4 with 5. The last bit is changed. So if they don't match to neighbors, then one of them I want to swap with somebody. If A of I matches with A of j, I will swap A of I plus 1 with A of j. So that now, like A of I is this, A of I plus 1 is that. Now I want to find somebody matching with 0. So I look with j to the right, and when I find 1, which matches 0, I will swap 1 with 2. But I don't know if it's optimal. There's some warning about precedence here. What goes first? Then I prefer to be careful. I thought that XOR will be run first, but it's not that, I'm sure. Accepted. Okay, this is a very bad problem. At least for Leetcode, not necessarily during a coding interview. For example, for a contest, it would be very bad because you can solve it without understanding your solution. XOR isn't power? No, in programming, this is XOR, binary exclusive OR. Power in some languages like Python is denoted like this. This is A to power B. This is a binary exclusive OR, which I agree is confusing. Can you try that? Not yet for sure. I need to understand this. Why was it optimal? Because I don't know. Hint. Say there are n two-seat couches. For each couple, draw an edge from the couch of one partner to the couch of the other partner. So they draw those edges, and I think they will look at cycles. I don't feel convinced which person of the pair should be swapped, and is it okay that I choose arbitrary one? XOR is not that expensive as equal? I mean expensive. If you are talking about how slow CPU is with that, then yeah, maybe XOR is a little bit faster, but those are anyway very fast operations. So XOR here is actually computed on numbers, so it's not one is true, it's bit by bit. So XOR on numbers is where every number you represent as a binary thing, like this is A, this is B, and then you compute XOR bit by bit. 1 with 0, 1, 0 with 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So this is XOR of A and B. You should just, Google that and Google XOR examples, I guess. Yeah, it's bitwise XOR. Like whenever you run it for 2 ints, it means for 2 numbers, so it must be bitwise. But this is not a big deal. I could as well, if I know that every even number matches 2k plus 1, the next odd number, then I could say something like return absolute value of A and B is 1, absolute difference between them, and the smaller of them is even. I believe that this would also work. And it wouldn't involve any XOR tricks. Yeah, it works. Ignore the runtime. This is just fluctuation. It doesn't mean that new code is a few times faster. It isn't. At least I don't think it is. It's just fluctuations. With that, you see, this is the same code as this one from a few minutes ago. It wasn't the same, so it's not cached. Those two codes were not the same. I did some other operation here. How old? I think there's a comment for that. 96. Yep. So why does it work? Here they do something related to cycle. They don't do it like J is row of I. That's some crazy order. So nope, I want to understand my solution. I believe that there are other solutions. This is something else. Greedy solution. For every I, J is the matching one. They could here just type row of I XOR 1. If this is bad, swap some 2 positions. Okay, they did it in, I think here they got it in linear complexity because of that code is longer. A proof of this greedy solution is easy. One swap could fix 2 couples in best case. One swap could fix 1 couple in worst case. We have to swap from start to end or from end to start to get the best case. This is bullshit. Maybe there is some part of proper proof here, but this is not a proof at all. How do I know this on the first try? Okay, but if I tell you solve an equation x plus 5 is 12, how do you know this? Because it's easy enough for you. Like you did enough math that something is enough for you. So same here. You solved for sure in school 100 or I don't know, hundreds of math problems, so you would know how to solve them. I solved hundreds or thousands of problems like this one. I have premium. I also have premium. I will open the solution on my other account. Sorting an array by minimum number of swaps. But it matters if the array is with distinct elements or not. If array is of distinct elements, then you know every number where it needs to go exactly. And that sounds easier than if there are ties, and then you don't know where exactly to put every element. There isn't work command, but there is job command. But it's a good idea, I guess, to make both cases work. Profession? Who put this alias here? Work. Profession. Work. Does it work? Like clipping that what? The profession? Maybe the cooldown is too big. Is every cooldown that big? 15, 5 global. Profession is more accurate. Sure, but it's just like, who says that? Who would come to a stream and type !! profession? Okay, I think job and work are good enough. Profession will stop working now. I'm sorry about all the people who used it every day until now. Right, so I'm going to log in with my other account. Limited time event to win giveaway. Are you interested? Tell me what is happening here. So what do I need to do to get a hoodie or something? Couples holding hands. Some other stream, but you need to remind me about it, regarding couples holding hands. Some other stream, I can tell you a story from Petrozavodsk about a problem named couples holding hands or something like that. But it's not safe for work, so some other stream, maybe I will do some gaming or so. Remind me to tell you a story about problem couples holding hands from Petrozavodsk. Okay, cycle finding, greedy. So they say something like this. I will show you part of the editorial. From guessing or by proof in approach 2, but I think they rely too much on this part. From guessing, our strategy is to resolve each couch in order and just do what I did. All right, and I'm now looking at this approach 2, which is related to cycles. And then I guess that what happens is every time I swap something, I decrease one cycle size by 1. And it's not that you can do something better, but it would be tricky to prove that. I believe it though. Sorry, I'm now looking at the chat and I see what the fuck are you doing? Would you consider making your own bot? Waste of time. When my platform? I don't know. Free iPhone 6. Give me 4 Google Play cards and share your screen. I'm already sharing your screen, my screen, so it's now enough that I give you 4 Google Play cards. You need to contribute something to the community and the most upvoted one gets the prize per week. I see. When I posted on Leetcode, link to my video from winning a competition or something like that, I mean winning their Leetcode contest, they removed the post. So I don't think they want me to contribute to their community. It wasn't even a video with ads or anything like that. So it's a video on YouTube where I earn $0 for that video and I don't advertise anything paid. And even then, they remove such a post because it's advertising yourself. I don't think Leetcode wants me to improve their community. How was Petrozavodsk? It was fine, but online, so it's not the same thing. Google hashcode problem. I did all past Google hashcode problems. Guys, speak in English. I don't know. Alpe timeout. Zitanzo timeout. How to convert top-down to bottom-up. If I have some resources, I cover that in the dynamic programming lecture on YouTube. Hashcode and CodeGem. Hashcode is for teams and it's optimization problem. All right. Before we move to something else, I'm thinking about changing the schedule of streams a little bit. Well, one thing is that in March there will be change of time in Poland by 1 hour, so you might find my streams differ by 1 hour from end of March if you don't switch also to summer time. So that's one thing. And the other is, right now the schedule is something like Tuesday hard at color problems, Thursday is coding interview like Leetcode, and Saturday is code forces, relatively easy code forces problems. And possibly I'm switching that to preparing a lecture, always something like this week I did Gaussian elimination. And I don't know, maybe even I will merge it with this. Like lectures in general are much more meaningful. They are more valuable to the community, I would say. So I'm not sure about this. Or maybe I can shorten my streams and then make it 4 times a week. But I don't feel now motivated to do a lot of hard at color problems because it's not that I'm preparing for a particular big important competition. Like sure, there is CodeGem every year, for example, Facebook Hacker Cup. Oh, by the way, my Hacker Cup video was taken down from YouTube. I got a strike from YouTube because Facebook programming contest has a word hacker in the title, in the contest name. It's just absurd. Want to do many things at once? I don't know. You seem to focus a lot on one thing only? Dry coder, I don't really know what you're asking. Is it during a contest or in general in life? But if you want some advice about how to focus, use Google. I'm not a psychologist. Like I will not help you. Balance solving very hard problems and medium. I don't know. Just do both. A little bit of both. Saturday Code Forces or AdCoder. Maybe that's a way to go, but AdCoder is very hard. It will be valuable to watch only for top 10% of viewers. So maybe indeed I should, by default on Saturday, do Code Forces, and once every 3 weeks I do hard AdCoder problems. But AdCoder is extremely hard. I spent 2 hours solving a single problem. And Saturday, because it's weekend, I would say it's the most valuable time, because there will be most viewers on average. So I don't then want to do something very special for a small group of people in the world. And maybe I should here by default prepare a lecture and just sometimes do hard AdCoder problems. AdCoder doesn't have easy problems. They do, but I don't care about easy AdCoder problems. AdCoder Grand Contest, their flagship competition, they only have hard problems, and they are really, really hard. Shorter streams bar more often. Okay, small poll. Type in the chat A if you would prefer 3 times a week 2-hour streams or 5 times a week 1 hour. Let's say that this is the choice you have. What would you prefer? Here I mean B. A or B? Ishik, you posted a comment 3 times. Come on. Oh. There's a tool for polls on Twitch. Yes, there is. It doesn't work. It says error, and that's it. I can try now. I didn't try for a long time. Dashboard Twitch. No. Yeah, let's see. Poll, question, blah, blah. Answer 1, answer 2, duration 1 minute, start poll, service error, try again in a moment. Most likely this thing is only for Twitch affiliates, but they should obviously just say that here. I also asked Twitch support, and they answered with some bullshit like check your browser. 5 times 1 is not equal to 3 times 2. So, Cyanide, I agree, but you need to understand that there is some overhead. When I make a 1 hour stream, let's say that it needs 10 minutes extra preparation. And then for me, making 5 times this stream is same time effort as making 3 times 2 hour stream, at least, roughly. Hard problems, just problems that I don't know how to solve in an hour. This is what I mean by hard problems. Hard algorithmic problems. Lectures or research for lectures in the new plan. This is preparing a lecture, so research for lectures. It doesn't mean a lecture. But this swap is independent from that. 5 times hour and a half. I know that you would want that. 1 hour stream. 1 hour stream will be shorter. I will think about it. Maybe, you know, 4 times 1.5 is a good trade-off. Boring streams. Boring streams are harder now because of COVID, but it's a complicated thing, so I don't want to go into details. All right, let's solve some problems. If you want to discuss with me more about this, go to Discord server. Cover more stuff during longer streams. Yes, but also there are advantages of like frequent streams. Save your stream. Yes, you can watch my streams on YouTube here. Fine. So we did this, and the proof, I believe, is about, wait, YouTube. So if you know what problem we were talking about, if not, then don't worry, I will move to another problem in a minute. Then when we have some kind of cycle, then what my greedy solution did is that it looked at one vertex. The vertex is just the first couch. This is how they called it in editorial. Position 0 and 1. And either you can swap it with somebody from here or from there. It just means that you put, like if there is BC here sitting, then either you need to put B here or you need to put C here. One of those two options. It doesn't matter which choice you make, but let's say you put something from this thing. Like this arrow, by the way, means that somebody from here wants to sit there, because there is a common person, like CC. If there is B here, then there is also B here. Like arrows are like that. Or even maybe I shouldn't just draw arrows. Two couches are connected with an edge, if and only if there is a common person there. And now swapping like that just will turn those two vertices into one, and new cycle is like that. There was cycle of size 5, now there is cycle of size 4. And some alternative is that we can swap two arbitrary vertices, like this one and this one. But we can analyze then what kind of two cycles we have, and it will be only a worse situation. Brute force? No, I did something greedy. For sure I wouldn't call it brute force. I had something greedy that I didn't know why it works. Right, and now I'm scrolling up to see suggestions you had. If you have new suggestions, then feel free to post it, but with some short description. Like, say why it's a good suggestion. I see that Lindan pasted the same thing a few times. Small, what is this? Small blog about visualization of geometry algorithms. Would you like to take a look? If you wish, here is the link. Send me a private message on Codeforces or Discord. Made a poll on streaming. Oh yeah, then use the poll. I mean, I already got the feeling of viewers that it's actually split, and it's half-half, I would say, but feel free to make it official. So the link is this. And now either we do this problem by Lindan. Oh, it's from binary search, all right. Or Saran suggested something new. Is it again that hard and I will not understand why it works? Wiggle sort. Reorder it such that it's increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. You may assume the input array always has a valid answer. And there is some follow-up. They want us to create some kind of zigzag. So I prefer this Leetcode problem rather than this one from binary search. Like here, this is the output because we go up, down, up, down, up, down. I think I can sort the numbers first and then always choose middle value. If they are sorted and in sorted order they are A, B, C, D, E, F, then I think something like this will work. A, D, B, E, C, F. So like if numbers were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I would here print 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6. I think it is reasonable. I don't believe that something better can be achieved. Link. This is the link. I mean, okay. So first the poll, and then I will give you a link to this. Here I described nlogn. That being said, the values here are very small, so I can sort in linear time in place with extra constant space. Three times 2 winning. Link to the results. Case of duplicate numbers. I first want to do it without duplicate numbers. Okay, so this result shows that I shouldn't rely on just watching with my eyes, because I believe that something like this, when I would see A, B, B, A, B, B, something like that, I would say, okay, it's 50-50, while here you prefer 3 times 2 hours. 86 people watching. I think it's a nice average. I get on average, I think recently 90 people on Twitch and around 50 on YouTube at the same time. In total, the average is around 150. And I think it's very nice for an algorithmic stream where you need to think actually and not just watch and enjoy. All right, wiggle sort. I will keep that in mind. I will not just now switch to 5 times 1 hour. This is last problem of a day. And I believe that this follow-up can be hard. We don't know that because this medium thing... Oh, okay, what about this? I don't think it's a good problem. Too many people disliked it. Today's Explorer. No, I'm solving this and then end of the stream. It will turn out that it's possible to do this, and just they shouldn't say that because they do something illegal. Maybe. If nums is that small, then I still can sort in time n plus this, but this is smaller than maximum n. And then I can say the complexity is, well, either n log n if I sort, or n plus max value. This is radix sort or count sort. But anyway, this is not what they wanted. I don't really need to fully sort. Maybe it's enough to split into lower and upper half. I can use nth element. There is an algorithm, randomized algorithm, to find kth biggest element. I can find n/2 first biggest element. So I can split numbers into smaller and bigger half. And if they are disjoint, I mean, if there are no ties, then I can easily reorder them. For example, if this is the case, then I will split them like this in O of n expected time, 564. Maybe here I would reorder this in place. Wait, in place meant that I'm not swapping equal elements? Oh no, that was stable. In place just means extra space, right? In place algorithm. Yeah, so this is redundant. You either say in place or you say with constant extra space. I usually thumbs down problems if they are misleading or poorly described. If the solution just completely sucks, then I think that downvoting is reasonable as well. Yeah, so in O of n I can do this, and then what do? I just need to swap some stuff around. Like 5 put here. If I have a series of small values right now, and then series of big values, then I will swap those two, then swap this with that, assuming that n/2 is even. Yeah, this should be easy. But there might be ties. Still in linear time, there is problem Dutch flag, or right? This problem with 3 colors, where we do an algorithm. This is linear time, constant extra space, an algorithm to split 3 types of values, small, medium, big, to sort them. So first there would be small, then medium, then big. So assume that there are ties, and there are some medium values here. Does it mean anything? Maybe then I cannot solve the problem. So is there a solution if input is like this? Can I still make that? Let's see. 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, it was possible here. Find the value of n/2 biggest element and put all numbers bigger than that on odd positions. Yeah, this is what I want to do, and I'm worried about ties. So the n/2 small values versus n/2 big values, they are not that independent. How did you divide into big and small O of n? There is an algorithm for that. I wrote it down here. There is O of n randomized algorithm to find this. It's just, choose random pivot, count smaller elements, go to one of the 2 halves. It's what you use in quicksort. And in C++ there is function for that. It's already built in. It's called nth element. So you can, if you Google C++ nth element, you will get something. Exactly, as it's in std. But there might be ties. So medium can be between 2 smalls, or it can be between 2 bigs, but nothing else is possible. So it seems that we need to do small, medium for some time. Then a bunch of smalls. And then we start with bigs. And maybe also this includes some big, medium. Something like this. Wait, no, this is bullshit. I need to mix smalls and bigs. Like that. So smalls and mediums. And on example of that, if the input is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, then every 2 is medium, everything bigger than 2 is big, everything smaller than 2 is small. Environment sorts only part of the list. Not really sorts. It doesn't sort. But I don't want to go into detail. Yes, we could make a lecture on that, but assuming that we know how to do it, we can treat this as some kind of black box, and assuming that, we can still solve the problem, assuming that somebody gave us this thing. Be Erichta language. Is that automatic Twitch censorship or you put stars? I honestly don't know. All right. If I know the number of mediums, number of small and bigs is not the same. But knowing how many smalls and how many bigs there are, I think we can figure something out. Let's say that there are 20 smalls, there are like 6 mediums and 18 bigs. Then some smalls need to be mixed up with mediums. I think that around 4 times I need small, medium, small, medium, small, medium. 16 times I need small, big, and 16 times I need, and that's it. Oh, and 2 times I need medium, big. 4 times, like in total, how many times bigs will be used? 18 times. How many times smalls are used? 20 times. How many times medium is used? 2 plus 4, 6 times. So if I have a little bit more smalls than bigs, then a little bit more times I need to mix small with medium than medium with big. We can also visualize that a little bit, what is going on. So it's like this. I have some small values like maybe 1, 2 a lot of times. Then there are a few mediums, let's say those are 4, and there are some bigs, bigger than 5, maybe 5, 9, 6, 5. Mediums, smalls, and bigs. And then I can mix them like this, like 1, then up there is 4. I need to create this zigzag thing. 2, maybe then 4 again, maybe 1. Then small and big will be mixed. So 1, 5, again some kind of 2, 9. Okay, here for some part I'm mixing big with small, and eventually I will start mixing medium with big. So every time if medium is between 2 smalls or between 2 bigs, it's good, and we have a zigzag. Selection in worst case linear time, can have a large constant. I mean, nth element on average is O of n, and that's all what I need. I don't see right now any deterministic solution. Does medium matter? We just need to start swapping from mediums. I think there is a way to implement it, not caring about mediums, and it will magically work for mediums as well. Because by default, if there are no ties, if there is nothing medium, then you start swapping like this medium will go here, then this big will go here, and so on. You just don't want two mediums to be next to each other, and you don't want a sequence small, medium, big. So, Zach, maybe you're right. It's hard to think about it. Okay. If I don't care about mediums, then what exactly I swap? I need to put something big here. So those two swap, then different color, this with that, and different color, those two. Assuming that this is not there. If it was there, maybe we just need to move it to the very beginning. And now what I drew, does it always work for mediums? I can believe that. This medium traveled there. The two neighbors are small, so here it seems good. If mediums are until here, I believe that there would be no solution. It looks reasonable. Yeah, I can believe that if the solution exists, then we got it. But it's not that here I see a rigorous proof that will deal with all off by one mistakes. It's convenient for me to think about a case where half of n is even, so n is divisible by 4, because this is the case I drew here, like every half it has even number of elements, so everything is divisible by 4. It's not guaranteed. It's not even guaranteed that n is even, but maybe we got it. We need to deal with odd n, so actually there will be some ifs, like maybe move this last b to the very beginning, or just it's about knowing how to round the middle. Think about this case. Four ones, 4 of this, 2, 2. Right, so this is odd, odder than that. And I'm not sure if I know how to deal with odd. But this is some special element in the middle. Are you saying that you see that my solution doesn't work for this and it's hard to fix? So you just sort and zip the halves. So not sort, but sorting requires n log n. I instead split into groups smaller than half and bigger than half, and then indeed zip the halves. All right, so here, if we don't think about medium elements at all, we have this versus that, and we could put those 6 elements in between those 7 elements. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I guess even looking at mediums, and mediums are here, so for me those are smalls, those are mediums, and those are big. I hope that my algorithm, what it will do anyway, is it will put those between everything else. And when I wrote down this logic, like we look at the difference between smalls and bigs, and according to that we will figure out how many smalls and, oh no, sorry. So I said that this can be done, but actually I'm just swapping stuff around. So let's see if this is proper to say that 3 is swapped with what? Because there are more of this, I think that 3 will be swapped with this first element. Let's hide the drawing. I think 3 is swapped with this. right? So this was the first swap. This with that. Then this one with this 3. Then move by 2. So this thing with this 3. And I lost. This 4, it would be nice to swap it with something. Oh, wait. I can swap it with some 3, but does it work? I think I need colors for that. Maybe this is solved, maybe not solved. I'm not sure. This with that. 1 with 3. 2 with 3. And it's... I would want to swap something with 4. Maybe this one then. I don't know. But at least in this case, swapping those two works. I see it this way, just put one over another. The numbers do not matter, they are small and big. Enters got deleted. Yeah, so I don't... You can, I guess, put this in some paste bin and give me a link, and then I will see what kind of indentation you wanted. How do you determine which elements are small, medium, large? Since you don't sort, I use nth element to ask about n over second element. If there are 100 elements, if n is equal to 100, I'm asking about 50th biggest element, and I call it medium. I think you misswapped the last swap you just did. Did I? Yellow, blue. Oh, this should be 3. Yeah, I messed something up. Okay, thank you. Jazino, thank you. Yes, this should be 2, 2, and I swapped 3 from here with that. Right, then... Right now this is for sure wrong, because I have up, down, but then this is very bad. But this cannot right now be fixed. And in general, I'm putting here something small, here something small, here something big. That's suspicious. So if we get back to drawings, but it feels that I'm guessing here instead of solving the problem. I think I shouldn't swap those two. I should swap some different pair. I think I should swap those two. Those two. Or maybe one with medium. Okay, I'm really guessing now instead of understanding this. Can you start with median and just alternate right and left? I look at median, but I don't know how exactly to handle off by one cases. Maybe treat identical numbers as a bag and pull one by one. It should be enough to treat small numbers as one group, then medium numbers as one group, and big as one group, because in particular they could be equal. Sort the array and add the last elements. The problem is hard because there is here this requirement. We cannot sort in n log n, and we can use extra constant space, constant extra space. There is this ugly follow-up. I still think that this works in some way, just need to figure out plus minus ones, and I don't I don't find it pleasant. Right. Maybe I should think about it as small, medium, and big. So everything here is small. This is medium. And this is big. All right. Now, what I want the final sequence to look like. There are 6 S's. So I believe that I want those to be in between, like MS, S, MS, 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 BSB. I don't know if that's good, but I put this B here very close. So it's not that I always should swap things distant by n/2. Huh. Okay, it will change my drawing at the top. It will change it a lot, I think. So everything here, it needs to get to every second place. This goes there. And then the next big also gets somewhere. Here. There. And so on. Then this 3 gets here. It's replacing 1 because a moment ago there was 1 there. Then this, is that right? I think so. Then this 3 will replace this position. Oh, and this 4 will replace this position. And then I will get exactly what I wanted. Videos on geometry? Not soon. Table of counts is constant additional storage. Depends on how you think about it. I would say that then we put this as complexity, because otherwise you can say that n is up to 50,000, so n is just constant. I wouldn't say that max array element is constant, just because they said that elements are up to 1,000. Right, so now apparently what we need is to, at least in this array, to iterate over the second half and to put first element of the second half on the very first position, second element on the third position, and so on. More clear drawing. If the split is here, we take this first element and we put it here on first position. Second element, put on third position. Third, fifth position. So that you would make this big or maybe medium, big, big, and so on. Eventually we will get something like that when things are repeated, but a moment ago here it was something small, so it's fine. You're putting something big here and here small. Everything is alright. So maybe some small element will be pushed to the right multiple times. We don't care. So eventually we also want this to be big and this to be big. Yeah, that's what I think we should do. What if the number of small is very large? If it's greater than medium plus large, then we cannot solve the problem. And it's guaranteed that the answer exists. Isn't the order is supposed to be low, high, low? High, low, high? Oh, they told us that low must be first. All right, then it's just about starting from second element, I guess. And then this example above, I would say it's impossible. It can be small is big plus 1. Yeah, if that's the case, then sure. I just thought that first goes big. Now, I could implement it but I think I'm too lazy for that, and I'm too scared that something will not work. How writing on the screen? I'm using application called Epic Pen. Let's see. Wave sort. So what is wave sort? There's particular algorithm for that. Sort in waveform. Sort the input array, then swap all adjacent elements. I don't want that. Can be done often by doing single traversal. I believe that this algorithm works only if all elements are distinct. There is some simple algorithm here, but yeah, there is something very simple for sure if there are no repetitions. So instead here I'm looking at discussion. I saw this guy a lot, at least this profile pic in Leetcode. Virtual indexing. Right, we have env element. Index rewiring. So this increases n to be an even number. Like if it's 7, it makes it 8. Or actually, sorry, increases it to be odd number. If it's 6, it makes it 7. If 7, not touches it. Then here we have 1 plus twice I. This seems to be this mapping where what I did is like the first element in second half put to the 0th position, then next element to the next position. It tells me ith element from the right half, which position it gets on the left, in the left half, or just in general. This formula is less crazy than you would think by looking at it. It isn't that scary. Throw a partition to wiggly in. But the fact that he uses it twice to swap some a of I and a of j is more crazy. It's not the same with my solution. But at least we know that indeed we need to do env element, and then we need to swap some stuff around smartly. Should I now try this? Should I try to implement this? Damn it, I should. I mean, I still will implement my solution. Not that one. But it might mean extra half an hour of implementation time. Well, what can you do? I prefer to call it A. I'm not sure how to round it. Maybe this should be rounded up instead of down. You can think. I'm sure it depends on the order of this, like whether we should put small or big first. And now, for every element starting from the half, swap a of I, a of j, increase j by 2. Hopefully that's it, but I'm sure there will be issues. And I just guessed here whether we need to round it down or up. What do they want? Oh, small goes first. Okay, j starts as 1, so the first big goes to the position 1, not position 0. worked here. Now, if it's like this, small, I need 4 smalls and 3 bigs, I guess. I think I need to here round up, because this middle element, but on the right, this one should go here, not this small, because then something bad is happening there. What about that? I think this doesn't matter. I believe that here it doesn't matter if I put n+1. But I think that here it matters. Can you use graphs? I don't think I can use it a lot because constant extra space. It's not that I will create even IJNCC list. I'm not sure about this. Okay, wrong answer. For even n. For even n, it doesn't matter how I round things. We have mediums. This is bad. I got 2 2s. Why? Because I have here 1 1 2 2 3 3. Oh, nth element. I think that nth element is not enough for me because I wanted smalls, mediums, and then bigs. Let's actually, for a moment, remove this and let's see what a becomes just after nth element. But I need to use some slightly different function if I want to have smalls, mediums, bigs. So let's get this input, run code for it. Let's see what a is. I have 2 1 1. Exactly, that's wrong. I really care about it being smalls, medium, and then big. So now, what do I need now? Maybe I need to count those equal to the medium. C++ nth element. And I need to run dodge flag. I'm reading the definition of it. Okay, so nth is on proper position. Then like this. And now before I do anything else, I need to get all mediums to be next to each other. So I don't want it to be like that. Wait, okay, so right now n/2 is here. Wait. Why did I do it like this? n/2 is already rounded up, kind of. Like for 7 elements, position 3 is exactly the middle. For 6 elements, I want to start from position 3. Yeah, so here I shouldn't round up. For 7 elements, I want position 3 or 4. Okay, that was right. Swap values that are equal to medium from position mid -1. Yeah, but I would need to get them in some order. Yeah, you're right. I will swap them with stuff close to medium. So right, first step is on the left from medium, on the left from n/2, put everything equal to medium, put all mediums to the right, or actually close to n/2. I don't see it. Okay. For example, if it's 2 1 1 and medium is equal to 2, I need to put this 2 here. I need to swap this with that. For that, if you are the medium, swap you with next available position. I think it doesn't hurt if I swap medium. Right? Yeah, even this is fine. It's like two pointers that go towards each other, and then all mediums are put exactly here. Then same for the right part, put all mediums to be close to the middle. Next is this +1, and I go from the end. Okay, fingers crossed. Damn it. Why is there 1 here? Oh, again, let's test it like that first. And still, maybe my solution is bullshit because it's simpler than the one we saw in the form. Okay, so I got what I wanted. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Median or medium? This is actually median as well, but I used word medium on purpose because I was talking all the time about smalls, mediums, and bigs. But yes, this particular value is median of the sequence. Really love my streams. Thank you, roll3x0. That's very nice of you to say. Somebody told me half an hour ago that maybe we don't need to do the math. Remember? Like, wait. I removed that already. Somebody told me I don't need to do the math with the number of smalls, bigs, and mediums, because maybe it will just magically works if I keep swapping properly. I think it doesn't work. And this is an example of that. Apparently. So I swap 2 to be on the second position. Then I swap this to be on 4th position. What? Oh yeah, okay. And this is on 6th position, so it does nothing. The issue is that those two 2's are equal. Well, because I moved something from the right here, I thought that it will be different. Maybe it will start working if I put here in the one of the parts mediums will be at the beginning or at the end. Swapping is bad, we need to insert. But I cannot be quadratic. So I think that I'm defeated. This problem is very hard and I didn't get it right. So I would do it by really counting smalls, counting mediums, counting bigs, and doing this math where compare number of smalls versus bigs, and then you will know how many smalls need to match with mediums. If you're putting stuff on the left, then you should start from n/2 minus next. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, with n/2 minus next or something like that, I can figure out how many mediums I have here on the right or on the left, or also in total. Would Gennady solve it? I mean, I would solve it too. So yeah, Gennady would solve it too. Just it's all about the amount of time needed. Can I fix this? How can I avoid putting it here so that there would be this collision? It's bad that there are two 2's next to each other. Well, it's supposed to be what? Small, big, small, big, small, big. How to fix this? we can, if we now see two mediums next to each other, I could maybe swap those two. There will be an interval with where on position of small there is medium. There will be interval where on position of big there is medium. I think I will do some fix at the end and it will work. Like here after that I will do the fix. If you start swapping from the end of big mediums, will now come together. End of big. Why should I start swapping from end of big? So I should put 3 here, then this 3 there. I don't see why this is true. I'm referring to comment by 18 Bhupen something. I mean, also blindly without understanding it, I can try. I can say here that I start from what, n-1. I have no idea what will happen. Nope. What was here before? n+1/2. Instead of this, wrong button. Instead of this, I could maybe do something like this. But as I said, I have no idea what it will do. Just run. Why not? Didn't work. Maybe I just didn't do it right. But at least with this code, I think that the only issue is with two mediums being next to each other. Like here. And as I said, there will be interval of smalls where those are actually mediums, interval of bigs where those are actually medium. So I could maybe swap some stuff around. Try to understand the crazy solution. I mean, that's possible, but is it better? I see a lot of suggestions in the chat. Some are repeated. Sans car, there is no need to repeat comments. It seems correct. No, it isn't correct. No. I told you the issue. Like this. This is the issue. Mediums can be next to each other. I know why my solution is correct, and I'm just thinking about a way to fix it. I saw that two people in the chat described some idea. Maybe I will try to do it myself. Also, I'm way over the time today, but I want to finish this problem. So when we look at positions of smalls, some interval of that will be covered by mediums. Or actually, I'm not sure if this is an interval, because smalls can be moved multiple times to the right. But what about the bigs? I go through that and I put on second position or like that. Okay, I'm sure about this. Among these positions, prefix of those is equal to mediums. It's here equal to 2. Now, regarding smalls, small is pushed to the left. So first, for some part, we don't have medium. Instead, we have a real small. Then, I don't care. Nothing interesting is happening. Then eventually, I get to a point where I put something big on the position of medium. And then this medium is moved to the right. So it seems that among these, a suffix, but this is not true here. I wanted to say that among those positions, suffix of them is equal to medium, but it's not the case. Why? Because one got here and later was moved even more to the right. Damn it. Alright, but maybe I should just say that among those positions, mediums actually should be the suffix, and among small positions, mediums should be the prefix. Then they will be far away from each other. Right? So that's the idea. Among positions 0, 2, 4, and so on, let mediums be the prefix. And then among positions 1, 3, 5, and so on, let mediums be the suffix. I think that this is a correct fix. Yeah. Why don't you do these streams on your main channel? The idea was that on main channel I make short, well-prepared videos. Right now it's quite dead because I don't make those videos. I want to get back to it, but yeah. 2 channels, one for videos, one for streams. Iterate over even positions. If something is equal to medium, then swap it with a of next. Right. And now suffix of this. This is now the last odd position, so the last out of them. For everything here, if you are medium, swap. And now that's it. I think that now I pushed mediums far away from each other. And the only case where this isn't enough to push them far away is the case where the number of them is bigger than n over 2, but this shouldn't happen. Oof. And this feeling is what competitive programming is about, because it was a hard problem for me, and still I was able to fix it. It's a very, very nice feeling. So, summary is this, that I split numbers into kind of small and big, into n over 2 small numbers and n over 2 big numbers, but there might be some ties in the middle. And then I interleave them, small, big, small, big, small, big. But again, some of them might be tied in the middle. But now I look at those big positions and I say, all of them that are equal to the middle, also called medium, also called median, then I shift them to the right as far as possible. So maybe this B is median, maybe this B is median, but this B isn't, for example. And then I look at smalls, so every even position, and prefix of that I want to be equal to the special median, because I only want to now push away medians by swapping around bigs with each other. How are the final hash codes be? I don't know. They are online, if this is your question. Danny Hatcher, thank you for the rate. How was your stream? I'm actually finishing mine, but we can rate somebody else in a moment. And because of this pushing away stuff, I believe that this part is unnecessary. I don't really care about putting 2's close to the middle first. So I'm removing this and trying again. It was good, thanks. Getting taught Python by my viewers new to the coding world. All right, then good luck with learning Python. Python is a good language, a good language to learn. I learned Pascal and then C++, and I wouldn't recommend them to beginners. Yeah, so this middle part was unnecessary, so it's enough to just do this. And let's work with an example. We can do this example or this one. Yeah, let's go with this one because it gave us some troubles. If the input is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and we want to make a zigzag out of it, we use nth element function to split everything into small elements and big elements. And maybe this is the split we get. Inside each half, we don't have a sorted order because we didn't run sort. Sort would be n log n, we instead have O of n. All right, now what we do? We imagine for a moment that each of those is called small, each of elements on the left is called small, and each of elements on the right is called big. Now we want to interleave them to make it small, big, small, big, small, big. For that, I take the first big element and put on second position. Let's work for a moment with bigger example. It will be more convenient. You will see it more easily. I put the first big on the second position by swapping two elements. So after the first swap, it's something like this. Then second big element I put on fourth position, because I want B to be on second position, fourth position, sixth position, and so on. So this element goes there. This is B, this is S. What next? The next B goes on the sixth position. Okay. Then the next B goes on eighth position, so here. Yes, this is a position where there used to be B, something big, but now it isn't. So those two swap. Actually, already I copied. Yeah, so this is small, this is big. And then, okay, now this B goes to 10th position, this one. And that's done. Now, last B goes to 12th position, but it's its own position, so it swaps with itself. And now we got SB, 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 SB. This part of code is done first, this splits, and then this swaps, like by first big it puts on second position, second big fourth position, and so on. Kth position, kth big number is put on 2 times kth position in the sequence. And now what's the issue with this? You might say that this is already interleaving, goes up and down, but let's remember that I said that those are small, those are big, but still there might be a tie. There might be element, like here it's 2, the median of the whole sequence that appears both in n over 2 smallest elements and n over 2 biggest elements. So this is special value such that maybe some small and some big are equal to that. And maybe right now both those elements, or even few elements, are equal to median. What I claim is this. Here all the inequalities are fine, with exception of maybe some positions where two adjacent elements are both equal to the median. How do I deal with that? I could find positions of them, maybe those and this, maybe also that. And now I need to swap some stuff around to make this issue go away. How do I do that? I focus on positions of S's for a moment, so only those are equal to the median, right? And now I want to say that prefix of S's should be equal to median. So if there are 4 S's equal to median, now I want them to be 1, 2, 3, 4 on those 4 positions. So now just focusing on positions 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, I need to push medians to the left. So I swap this with that, this with that, this with, I don't know, next available element. It's done by this piece of code, where I remember a pointer next. First it points to 0. For every second position, so those positions of smalls, if something is equal to medium, put it on this pointer at the beginning and then increase the pointer by 2. So this variable, it denotes next available slot for me to put median there. After I do this, I know that prefix of S's is equal to median, like maybe this, those 4 first smalls are equal to median. Now I do the opposite on bigs, such that let's say that 2 bigs are equal to median, maybe this one and this one. After my swaps, I want 2 last b's to to be that. And now I have prefix of ss equal to median, suffix of bigs equal to median, and they will not touch. If they touch, like this is the case, then that would imply that the number of medians is greater than n over 2, but actually I claim that then the solution doesn't exist, because you cannot avoid two medians touching each other, and the statement said that it's guaranteed that there is an answer. So it means that this length of prefix with medians, the number of medians among smalls plus number of medians among bigs, it cannot exceed n over 2. So for sure that prefix and suffix there will be disjoint, and they will not even touch. Oof, done. That was quite a hard problem. So in code it's split into small and big, and each of count n over 2. Then put bigs on positions counting from 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. Then focus on even positions and put all medians as the prefix. Focus on odd positions and put all medians as the suffix. Cool. If you like my explanations, then feel free to follow my channel, subscribe on YouTube, go join the Discord server, stuff like that. I solve those kind of problems. All right, yeah, easy peasy. Good summary of problem that I was solving more than an hour. Let's see if somebody deserves a raid. Tips for a participant in Kickstart: solve past problems on Kickstart. You can read this. This is a more general advice. Anybody is doing Leetcode? Why is there a stream called NVIDIA RTX 3000? Stock tracker, okay. Stock, I mean trader. Do you see? Okay, there is coding game. I think it is fine for us. Control F Leetcode. Not here. Yeah, one person is streaming Leetcode. Coding interview workshop 1, lowest common ancestor. Is it some professional stuff? What is this? It's an old stream. It's not going on right now. Is it for free or just some kind of boot camp?
And then they're like on the phone. They're like, okay, solve this for me. How do you go about solving that? So I just want to make sure that I'm not. 3 is like a direct parent of like this like 1.
Does anybody know what this is? There is no info here. Maybe I need to click that.
So that's like how you kind of remember family relationships. It's just like
organization at some kind of university teaching weekly tech workshops.
Just like 1 down here
okay.
Or something. Also, this backtick is.
You should do just chatting. Not today. I'm bored. I'm not bored. That's a very wrong word. I'm tired enough after this problem. But sure, from time to time I do that. Thank you everybody once again for watching. Say hi to Sonor Gonul. He does those short, easy problems from coding game where you can compete against each other. Binarysearch.in is good to start for beginners. I don't know what that is. Binarysearch.com isn't good for beginners. Leetcode is better. All right, see ya.